Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today's build and play guide is on the Florida. Yes, the same Florida that we had 259,000 damage with yesterday's video. Now it's time for the build and play guide on it. Also, kind of ship means a lot to me because this was my first premium ship I think I ever had, outside of the free Campbellton. But anyway, let's get started here. We are using Azure Lane, New Jersey. If you don't have Azure Lane, New Jersey, just go ahead and use whatever commander you use for your American battleships. We are using Scharnhorst. You could use John Fisher or Cunningham in this slot if you don't have Scharnhorst, or Pablo de Revel for your reload time to help this American reloads that aren't ideal. For our skills, we're using Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Firefighter, Don't You Love It, and Fight Fire with Fire. For our mods, I've talked about it recently. I've been on American battleships because you don't get the aiming systems mod 1. We have the Americans, we have the plotting room. Your first slot is either Turret Traverse or AA mod. And I'm really liking boosting the AA, so that's up to you. For the second mod slot, propulsion mod or steering gears, this is up to your playstyle. And the third slot is always concealment. Now we'll take a look at the specs, and we're going to compare this a little bit to California. California is a tier lower, and we're going to see it has some similarities. For example, the health is very similar at 63,000. I think that's only 4,000 or 5,000 more than California at tier 5. Now, with that being said here, we have 12 14-inch guns just like California. What's the difference? These are Mark 11s. What does that mean? Apparently, they're a lot worse. That's all, the Californias are tier 7s. A lot are the Mark 7s. That's what all of the tier 5s have for the most part, or similar. And all it apparently means is Mark 11s are not good. Why do I say that? Reload time is worse on these guns. Everything is pretty much worse for the most part. The HE is worse. The fire chance is worse. And the AP damage is worse. About 1,000 damage worse. And on American battleships, it's not great to see. And not only that, these guns are not super accurate. Okay, so tier 6, they're also low caliber. Tier 5, 14-inch guns are kind of common. At tier 6, you want a little bit bigger than 14-inch guns if you can help it. AA defense is very good on this ship. You can absolutely take down some planes in this ship. Maneuverability at 24 knot speed and a 760 turning circle. So not necessarily ideal for the tier, but it's not awful either. And the rudder is 12.3. Your concealment is actually not bad in this at 12.4, but it is a battleship. You're not sneaking up on a dead moose in open water. Stats, let's look at this. Now, as I said, and you guys saw in the video yesterday, you can see the AI stats, which don't mean anything. Here are the standard stats, and as you can tell, this was one of my first ships I ever got. Now, in these couple games that I played on the same day the match happened, I definitely played a little bit better in helping these stats, but don't let this fool you. This is a rough ship, even for me now, a little bit. So you can see the main accuracy of the guns is 32%. That is not great. And these guns can be really trolly at times. And you're going to see that even in today's match. Now, for armor, this is basically like a South Dakota or a North Dakota class battleship for the most part, with the 4 guns per turret. But one thing you got to be careful of on this ship is going broadside. So this is styled like a American fast battleship, meaning you don't want to go broadside in it, right? So that's pretty clear with, the American fast battleships. Broadsides, they'll get wrecked a lot easier. And I know what you're thinking. Well, it's got a great belt on it, right? Well, real quick, we'll look at the bow and stern. So it's 25, so you can get any overmatched by anything over 14-inch guns. But we're going to go ahead and take all this off, and you realize that is your Citadel showing, folks. That is a raised Citadel. And trust me, it can be hit pretty easily for the most part. It's huge. It's as wide as the entire ship. And even the submerged section of the Citadel is very big. This thing will give up a lot of Citadels very quickly. And yeah, like I said, you go broadside in this, you're not going to be alive long. That's just the way it is on the ship. Way worse than normal. As we go ahead and start this match and check who we're up against, I do want to say it is disclaimer time. This is a beginner's guide to help out people just learning this ship or learning the game in general. This is not for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything. There is also multiple ways to build and play ships, so opinions will vary. I am just a above average player. I don't claim to be the best player in the world. I just am a pretty darn good player. So I do make mistakes. You're going to see some in this match. And also, you didn't come to this video to see how to pronounce names, as I am very terrible at slaughtering other beautiful languages. It's almost an art form, so keep that in mind when you're watching this, guys. With that out of the way, we are on Tears of the Desert, and we don't have any destroyers, so interesting game, and a chance for us to have a really good damage game, right? So let's get ready for a lot of damage. Maybe not. It's a Florida, okay? We're in the middle spawn. I'm gonna push up here, so I'm trying to go ahead and push up, but then all of a sudden you can see all our teammates are bailing on the right flank, but one, and all of our team is going to the left side, like almost everyone. So we're gonna make a small adjustment where I'm gonna go a little bit more to the right, try to get up on these islands and get some crossfire. So got to be a little bit careful in the Florida. It's not a bad ship. I don't want people to think it's a bad ship. I just don't think it's the best ship. As you can see, Ishmael is there, completely broadside to our whole enemy team. We're going to take a shot. We're trying to get some damage, but Ishmael is completely broadside to our whole team. Now, one thing you're going to notice here is we're in quite the weird match. With the way this is playing out, I'm being a little cautious because there is a lot of people all of a sudden going to that left side, and you're going to see as soon as I notice that, and I don't notice it right away, basically their whole entire team is going to the A cap as well. So our side did it, and our team did it, and their team did it. So I think it's basically, for the most part, almost all their team is going to go to that side. You're going to see here in a minute, I realize that, and I start to push in. Like, I'm going to get some crossfires. As you see, there is California, which, in my opinion, I would rather have at fighting Tier 7 than this thing. You get in a Tier 7 battle with this, you have some disadvantage. Now, I don't hate the ship, guys, and I know what people are going to think. No, there's only one ship I've ever said that's bad in the game. It was the Russian Tier 4 that they put out for winning the Starship event, and it just was not good. This ship definitely could use a buff as well, but I don't think it's a bad ship. It can be tough to play, especially for new people. If you make mistakes and give up a broadside. Now, if you angle, you can 100% tank damage in this. But if you give up citadels, you can't heal that back. And all of a sudden these 3 heals you have aren't going to be worth that much. As you can see, we're trying to take a look at Nagato here. And we are going to work on pushing straight up now to be effective. Now, The reason I'm being a little bit cautious is there's one destroyer not, or one cruiser not spotted yet. So I am being a little bit careful. I have an idea where he is. There's, you're gonna see, I don't know if it's right here or in a second. I do definitely see a smoke cloud up to the right, and I keep an eye on it for pretty much the rest of the match. Because yeah, there it is, right there. And, you know, we're not spotted, so we're trying to sneak up. I'm not shooting my guns and wasting really bad shots that, you know, I probably could take. We're going to try to just sneak up on this side. So another thing with Florida is Tier 6, it's really tough for battleships. There's a lot of pretty okay ones or solid ones, but not really great ones like that you see in as we're going to send a shot at Nagato here, and of course then Nuremberg comes flying out broadside, but this thing has not got good accuracy. And at tier 6 in my opinion is more destroyer heavy or cruiser heavy, and there's not as many great battleships at the tier. You know, tier 5 is loaded with really good battleships like California, Hyuga, Warspite. Tier 6 just doesn't have that. There's some good ones, okay ones, but, you know, kind of tough. So if you're watching this video, what tier 6 battleship to pick? Being that this is my first one, you know, and being an American that, you know, I first got the game, I thought it'd be love American battleships. I didn't for a long time until very recently, actually. But you're going to see at 10 kilometers there, I want to point out, we hit 2 shells out of 12 on Nuremberg. 2 shells. We're 5 minutes into a match with 20,000 damage, and we've only hit 25 of the shells. We have not had good salvos. But we're going to continue to push up. And we're going to try to get some sort of crossfire. Our whole team is kind of wasted away over there. Their team's kind of sitting behind this island I'm trying to get, and you can see we're definitely spotted now, obviously, by Nuremberg, but I'm wondering, too, if Leander isn't spotting me, because I believe that's a Leander out there. But we're going to go ahead and continue to push up. As you see, we do detect Leander out there. And here my thought is, not too worried about Leander. I mean, you know, Leander's not going to do too much to me right now. I want to get the broadside of Nagato and get turned out. Alright, one thing I didn't realize is there was a battleship undetected there for a little while. It is Ishmael. Sure, I'm going to get a shot off on him, and only 5 of the 12 shells hit at 5 kilometers on a broadside target, guys. And that is what I mean about getting getting hit from a broadside. You can see we instantly lost. It was about 2/3 of our health before we started healing. Not good. Not good, guys. And that was to an Ishmael. You know, so well, at least we're gonna kill him, but oh, that's rough. And I should have known better. That's the daily dumb Dave moment of this match, by the way. But you can see we're having a much better game. It only took a broadside ship to come out 5 kilometers at us. But like I said, I don't hate Florida as much as it sounds. It just, you have some really good games in it if you want. I'm sure now that I'm a better player, getting back into this, I'll have more solid games in it. But as you can see, we're trying to take the cap right now, and we do get hit with 4 seconds to go. One thing here, as you will see, I don't want to get necessarily into a fight with Nagato and Leander while trying to get a cap. It's not going to work. I'm not going to be able to get the cap right. So I got to be smart about this. I do want to take out Leander as quick as I can, but he is driving straight at me, and with this accuracy, not ideal. So we're going to go ahead, get 2 pins on him. At 9 kilometers, 2 of our 12 hit. And obviously he's pointed right at me, so he's a little harder to target to hit. But these guns can be really trolly when you get used to American guns and you get in this thing, you're like, what happened? Now, I know what he's doing here, so I'm not shooting my guns again, right? He's trying to bait me into shooting so he can just sit in the smoke and shoot me. I'm not going to shoot my guns. That's going to keep him coming forward at me to keep spotting me. And we're going to wait until I think that his smoke runs out. So you can see I could be shooting my guns right now, but all that's going to do is leave him in the smoke. So we think the smoke's coming to an end here. So now we're going to take our shot. He backs up into his smoke, but he has made the mistake now of being too close to two enemies. And I think it's an Amano to my left. He is going to help go ahead and try to get rid of this as the Leander goes into his smoke cloud. And we're going to actually, as he gets killed, we're going to work around turning around. So I'm much more comfortable with taking on Nagato by himself than him and a cruiser at the same time. And I wouldn't mind getting this cap. So again, we're going to push in. And you can see the craziness that has went on the left side. We went from losing to now winning. We had some really craziness in this match. I would have loved to see the other side on this match. Is we lose Ismail and the cap that we were starting to get. But now you can see, I'm not even, I think it's Carcacholo. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I'm not a pronunciologist. But we're going to start to get ourselves in not an ideal situation. So one thing I'd like to say about this ship is you don't have the one combination I feel not many people talk about in this ship is that it's designed like a fast battleship, but you don't have the speed. So you don't have the speed, you don't have the turning ability of the dreadnoughts, and you can get yourself in trouble if you get too aggressive. Now I do make a pretty okay turn here. I wait till Nagato shoots, and I'm undetected there for a while until I get most of my turn done, and that's going to help there. But I don't want to be charging two full health battleships or two, very healthy battleships. So we're going to work on pulling away. Now this is where you're going to see kind of the disadvantage here. This is quote unquote a fast battleship. It's not overly quick, and we're going to get chased down here. I thought I would be able to outrun him and go dark. That's why I'm not shooting my guns, but clearly that is not happening. He is completely keeping up with me and even gaining a little bit on me. So I decide, it's kind of pointless. We're going to start shooting then to at least make him back up. We get a decent accuracy on there, but I should have aimed a little higher in my opinion. Now he makes the turn. I wish I had held for the turn, but I don't think he was going to turn until I shot my guns anyway. But again, like I said, we're trying to keep some distance. I don't need to give this team 3 points, right? If I die, that's like a 100-point swing essentially to their team. And this is too close to the battle to just give that away. I could just instead work on spotting I could help be the person spotting here. While my cruiser does all the work for the most part. I'm trying to tell him get back a little bit. We have the points lead, we have caps. There's no reason to go ahead and give this match away. My biggest thing here now is staying alive and keeping my points on my team. And B cap doesn't really matter to me. You can see I was trying to get it at one time, not anymore. But I wasn't sure if the Italian battleship was coming after me or not. I kind of make a turn to stay close to see if I can spot him after he comes out of his smoke here, obviously. And like I said, I'm trying to let my teammate get back, but I don't want Amano to be too aggressive here. And obviously his smoke's gone, so I'm not spotted. And I'm real worried about this cruiser charging in. As we can see, the Italian battleship is catching me, in fact. So we're going to go ahead, even after he turned out, we're going to go ahead and shoot out at him, do our best. We're going to switch to HE for a second, and we're going to switch back to AP. The reason is Amano can start him on fire. He doesn't have a ton of health left, and I'd rather be prepared if he makes a poor turn. I'd rather stay angled to him for the most part, tank his hits, And if he makes a mistake of turning broadside, then we can take care of him. And meanwhile, our teammate can burn him down if that's the case. So teammate does get torps out there. They are heading that way actually, but we obviously can't stay out of his spotting range because we're too slow. And we're kind of looking at the island here of seeing what could happen. So trying to be aware of that. For the most part, best thing to do is not worry about the island. You got to end this first, and the torpedo does. So, you know, not the prettiest battle, but we helped where we could, and we did have a Daily Dave dumb mistake, obviously going broadside to a ship I didn't know was there. I kind of expected that ship to turn around, but we do, in fact, win the game. We get a dreadnought. We help our team out. We are, believe it or not, even with that amount of damage, we are second on the team for points, meaning we definitely contributed to helping our team out. Not the game's best ship, but anyway, hopefully this helps you out, guys, and you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time, folks.